Right. Here's a story from United Press International and Hacking News Network, and ZDNet has some stuff in there too. But the FBI has warned that that people are hacking smart home devices for swatting incidents. For those of you who don't know, swatting is where you pretty much do a fake call to the police saying that something is happening at someone's house that really isn't, to get the police to swat them. Um, and people do this as a prank, as revenge, stuff like that. It's really just, and actually there's been one case of a person being killed because of this. So the FBI, which is in the United States, is the Federal Bureau of Investigation, that smart home devices with cameras and voice capabilities are being hacked for swatting incidents. Now, it used to be they would spoof a phone number or something and claim there's something going on. If they could, they would hack into people's cameras or whatever, and then they would record the incident because, like they're doing it for revenge, doing it for kicks, or whatever. So this is, first off, swatting is not something I recommend, not something I highly say don't do this. This is a horrible thing to do. People have been hurt and killed because of this. One guy's gone to jail to prison here in the United States for this. So I think this case was over like a really small amount of money too. It was really weird. So what they do recommend is that you, in order to protect and most of the stuff they're using is like your home surveillance equipment, stuff like that people have. What they're trying to say is people should be using two-factor authentication, really strong passwords. Duh, that's a IT thing. I mean, anybody who's in IT knows you want to use strong passwords, especially for stuff like that. And what they're going on to find out that what they've been doing is some people use their email passwords for their. So according to this, to this article in the UPI, defenders they've been using victim smart devices, including video, audio, home surveillance devices, to carry out these attacks. And looks like that like a lot of people use like the same password for everything. So once they crack that password, they crack everything. So by doing that, they're like, oh, we had his email password. So hey, wait a minute, it's the same password he uses for his camera and live stream stuff, and they're going it that way. So yeah. Now the article goes on to state that the first known swatting incident happened in the 2010s, and that was it. And the offenders were probably using spoofing technology, which is true. So what spoofing is you would say, I'm calling from Texas, but I make it sound like I'm calling from someone in California or Kansas or somewhere. That's what spoofing is. That's for like but spoofing also means that you can also hide your IP or you can hide your IP saying, well, I'm actually in Texas, but I'm going to make it look like I'm in New Jersey. You can also spoof your MAC address, because every item has a MAC address, and you can spoof your MAC address. And some things you can actually change your MAC address. Every item is supposed to have its own MAC address. I do know when I was working in Virginia for Navy Marine Corps Intranet, we had one guy who ran into the fact that in an office they had two devices that had the same MAC address. Now, the devices came from the same company, which means there was a glitch at the company. And can it happen? Yes, it's happened. I've heard of it once. In the 10 years I've been in the IT industry, I've heard of it happening once. And everybody else I've talked to, have never heard of it happening until I tell them, it's like, well, that's the first time I've heard of it happening, but I know the guy who it happened to. I know the guy who troubleshot the problem. And it can happen. but it would happen like maybe once per company that makes stuff that has MAC addresses. This is how rare that is. And I think it may have only happened once here in the United States, maybe. Unless someone switches a MAC address, like I said, something's hands. The times that some two items may have the exact same MAC address is quite unheard of. I'm just one of the few people who've actually talked to the guy who's actually dealt with it, that incident. But so be careful out there. Those of you who have like home security devices, stuff like that. People are doing swatting. Now, they're not going to swat the guy who goes home and does nothing and watches Netflix and does. But this is most of the swatting I know of has happened to gamers, to like people who got mad that they lost a match in like Fortnite or Call of Duty or something, and then they got mad and had the guy swatted. So just be careful. Keep your passwords separate if possible, and be safe out there. And use good passwords. Two-factor authentication for some stuff helps too. Later.